Welcome to the Top 10 Gardener with Master Gardener Ken Lain. Gardening can be challenging, but with Ken's tips, tricks, and top 10 advice, you'll reap huge rewards. Now, welcome your garden host, Ken Lain.
And back in the studio, Lisa Waters Lane comes in each week and just shares her garden tips just from a different angle. I think there's value. You get 10 gardeners in a room. You're bound to get about 12 or 15 different opinions or ways to do things. And so I think there's value. That's part of the reason that gardening is so social. So it's a group effort. It's not something you do on your own. It's something you research. And at any age, no matter how much experience, you never stop learning gardening, which is what I love about it.
That
so
is true.
Welcome, Lisa.
Thank you.
So what do you got for us this week? What's going on in your garden?
Well, so we've had a very nice, pleasant winter so far. So we have some windows that face out front in our yard. And I was looking out the windows the other day, and there were just, I don't know, at least maybe dozen or more little finches, little birds out there in the front yard. And they were just as busy as could be and happy as could be. And then later that day, I was looking because we have a little fountain there. Also, look over in the fountain, which is running because it's underground. We keep it running through the winter. And there were some birds in there just kind of bathing in there.
Fun.
And it was just, I was thinking about, we always think about birds maybe in the summer. Everybody thinks of the hummingbirds and attracting them. But it is just so nice to have a yard where nature, where wildlife, where birds want to come in and hang out because they are fun to watch.
Yeah, especially in the winter when there's not a
lot else.
I mean, the plants are growing, but it's really painful to watch them grow so slow. Birds. And the great thing, too, is there's two sets of birds out there. There's summer birds, like you mentioned, the hummingbirds. That's when the butterflies are out and things are going. And then there's your winter birds. They fly south. They like to spend time up, way up in Canada or higher elevations. They come down to here because this is their summer vacation spot or their winter home, and they like it. So it's a whole different set or kinds of birds. So that's what's so exciting.
Plus, I think you just see them more because you got to, the leaves aren't on the trees and you're just seeing them out there more, being more active. So we have a lot of birds in our yard, but we never put out a bird feeder.
Think of how bad it would be if we did. There would be hundreds.
And not that it's bad. I mean, if people want to put out feeders, more power to you, not knocking that at all. But you can also attract birds in without, but we've never put up a hummingbird feeder. We've never put up a bird feeder, but we have a ton of birds in our yards because we've created a landscape that is friendly to them. So, birds want a few things. I mean, first of all, they want water. So you can't have a water source, even if it's a plastic saucer or put a bird bath out, but put a heater in it for the winter. You don't want it to freeze. But giving them a water source is hugely important. The second thing they want is food, and they also want cover. So cover is, you got to have some tall trees in your yard. You got to have some shrubs. You got to have some ground cover, low growing things, because they want to feel safe in your yard. So if you've got nothing in your yard but a bird feeder hanging there, they're not going to feel very safe because they don't have that cover that they need. And there's some birds that, they spend a lot of time up in the treetops. They don't really go to the ground too much. And then you got those birds like quail that pretty much hang out on the ground, and they like that ground cover where they can retreat and hide if they need to. So those things are very important. So you can put a landscape in that gives them cover, but also gives them a food source. So there's a lot of plants we can put in that provide berries and wildflowers that give seeds and that kind of thing. So I thought I would kind of talk about those plants.
I like it. No, that's perfect. So we've got water in the backyard and the front yard. We've got a full-on pond in the back. And I noticed the bigger birds like it back there. They want to jump up on the rocks and go on the waterfalls and kind of be over here. Get kind of, they're towards evening. They're like hydrating before the cold, before the evening comes. The front yard is more of it's a tall piece of granite, polished, water's bubbling up the top. It's not as aggressive. And the smaller birds, and the robins, I'd say not all small birds, but the smaller birds in general like the front front one. Not that they won't go in the back, but they just would prefer the front one. And we've adjusted them so they run during the day,
right?
So they don't freeze. So everything's running during the day when the birds are out. So it's like 11 to 4. We're running the water features,
right.
pond, and the fountains
We've
for
even
the birds.
we've had a crane in the back pond.
Blue heron.
Blue
We've seen
heron.
eagles flying over.
Yeah.
Ducks have been in the back.
That's true.
Pond,
we had a
kinda.
ducks a couple years ago.
It's crazy.
It's kind of fun. The doves go out there and use a lot. So the back one, you're right. It's definitely the big birds. The front one, especially in the summer, the hummingbirds love to hang out.
They just will grab onto the fountain and just kind of hang there with the water going over and just kind of take a rest and take a sip. And it's kind of weird to watch, but it's
fun
interesting.
To watch.
Yeah.
So in your yards, if you're looking for tall canopy trees, some that do really well here, your maples, your pines, your spruce, aspen, sycamore, all of those are going to do really well in your yard. Beautiful trees. But they give you that tall canopy plant that's
where they're going to roost too. They're going to be up there. The hummingbirds, we see them all the time in the mimosas, maples. They're up there roosting. You see little tiny nests in there. So yeah.
And our big juniper too. We have big native juniper back there.
I love that big thick. They like the thickness,
right?
And you'll see an entire flock of birds in this one tree going crazy. Oh my gosh, it's such a party. We're all here. It's so exciting.
So definitely need those tall plants in your yard. You also need some medium canopy plants. Ones that I thought of are barberry, caryopsis, butterfly bush, things that actually produce a berry. So cotoneaster, pyracantha, lilac, just things that they're can get into to kind of hide. And if you can give them a food source at the same time, it's even better.
Pyracantha.
I said pyracantha.
Oh, you did. Sorry, I missed it. I was trying to help you think of others. We got 2 acres of garden centers. There's nothing but plants that are medium sized. We can help you with that. I have to say
my favorite class of plants for this would be your cotoneasters, because there's some tall ones that get about 6 foot. Gray leaf gets about 4 foot. There's some low growing ground cover ones. So they and they're animal resistant as far as deer and bunnies and that kind of thing. But they also give a really nice berry, which is really pretty. So those are good. Oregon grape holly.
Oh, good choice.
That's another one I thought of. Sand cherry, serviceberry, sumacs, another good one. So if you've got native scrub oak, I think I would kind of put in there too, because that's a great native, doesn't take anything really to take care of it.
Yeah.
And the birds love it. So you don't have to clear everything off your property. You can leave some of that native stuff in there and make the birds happy as well. Then your low growing plants. So we have Salvia gregii, we have Gaillardia, dianthus,
Russian sage.
Russian sage is another really good one.
The dwarf lilacs, so the repeat blooming bloomerangs, got those yuccas. There's a bunch.
Oh, there is. And so even in the summertime, you can do a lot of annuals. Your zinnias, things like that the birds love to come in. So in like this time of year, so back at your office, you had a bunch of wildflowers growing, but we cut them down, but we left kind of the seed there. So that gives the birds something to eat. Your grasses are excellent for those winter birds because they're eating the seed heads. So you can put a lot of things in to kind of naturally encourage those birds into your yard.
Did you notice in the backyard last week, we had a pair? There's 2 roadrunners working the wildflowers back here. They must be eating, I don't know, seed or grub, something. They're out there. Something's back there for them. They're loving it. They're just camped out. They're up on the fence. They're looking at the corral. It's kind of fun to watch them tag team.
I didn't see them. I'll have to keep my eyes out for them. But it is fun to watch all the little birds come in and kind of just make their home your home.
Make your home their home. Yeah, that's right. It's pretty easy.
Right. So I think the main thing is, and I'll get in my soapbox again because it drives me bonkers, and I get it. People move here, they retire, they want more of a low maintenance yard. But if you have nothing but rock and a one tree in your yard,
you're a boulder.
Gotta have the boulder. You're really not encouraging nature. You're not, and you're missing out because you're not encouraging that. You're missing one of the more beautiful things in life, which is watching nature.
nature. We are surrounded. We're on the flight path. So we are on the migratory pattern. So Lisa, thank you. How to attract more birds. We've got this handout at the garden center. You want it. It's like 3 pages of just plant recommendations, what Lisa just summarized. Come in. It's free. Love to chat with you about how to do that. Getting more birds in your yard. Be right back with more after this. As the days get longer and brighter, houseplants can struggle and scorch, but we have the solution.
At Waters, we've organized our houseplants from A to Z for the brightest of sunny locations, many even bloom.
With experts that know plants and how to make them grow.
Shipments of the freshest houseplants in town have just arrived from A to Z and ready for a bright new home.
As